Welcome back everybody to another video. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at some of the issues that this game has. This is Pokemon Scarlet. Let me move myself. As you guys can see right here, this is the newest game in the Pokemon franchise. This is one of the versions. The other version is Pokemon Violet. I do own both copies, but I've primarily been playing Scarlet, and boy, let me say something. There are some big old issues with this game. It's pretty bad. So the game as a whole, honestly, is pretty good. I like it a lot. It kind of has this charm to it. It is a mess that I love. Okay, that's going to probably be the title of the video. And we're going to be taking a look at kind of some of the issues with the game. So this is it when you're in the game right here. All right, so as you can see, it looks very similar to Breath of the Wild in a way, but not quite. You can see some of the issues with some of the far away stuff. It looks a little meh. Overall, it looks not very good. Let me just be completely honest. So, as you can see, there's plenty of cities that you can go to and stuff like that and explore the world however you like to. And as you can see, some of the stuff that's like far away, like see those mountains, they just look bad. That looks really bad. And as you can see, it in the distance, see that one person walking over the bridge? It's very choppy and stuff. Even people who are close, like the Golduck right there, very choppy until they get close to you. Now, that's something game developers do a lot of the time. They will have the frame rates be kind of low quality and low frame rates in the distance, but then when they get up close to you, it runs a little bit better and it looks a little bit better. They do this with distance and stuff. That's why people call it pop-in, stuff like that. Like, for example, if you look down there where the red building is, those are the Pokemon centers. If I, as you can see, there's no one down there. But if I were to go up to the Pokemon Center, people would start to pop in. It would, appear more lively, and overall really cool stuff. So, I mean, when you're exploring the world, it, looks pretty good for the most part. Other than a few issues, like see people are still choppy no matter how close you get to them. I remember when Legends Arceus, the last Pokemon game, came out. People were complaining about that. They were like, oh, it's, look how low quality it is. But as you can see with things like the waterfalls, like the bushes and the wind, they look fine. It's mostly moving objects like the people, and then there's a few like the little turbines over there, whatever you call them, the wheels. They're spinning at a low quality and stuff like that. It's just stuff that obviously you expect to see in games. And I think the Switch is starting to kind of show its age a little bit. And why I think a pro version of the Switch would be really nice to have. So when you're exploring the world, you've got this huge open world to explore. This whole region you can explore to your heart's content. You start out here kind of at the bottom and then you make your way around. This is a fully fledged Pokemon open world game. We already had one of these with Legends Arceus, but this is the newest one, and it kind of mixes a lot of the formulas and stuff that have been tested in other past Pokemon games and kind of throw them all into this one, component. For example, the open world aspect first kind of came about with Legends Arceus, a little tad bit in Sword and Shield, but mostly with Legends Arceus is when it showed up. And then it brings back the gym challenge, where you go around getting gym badges and you basically are trying to become the champion of the region that you're in. So in this game, you do get this access to this Pokemon. In Violet, it's the one that's on the box cover. Basically, you can use this Pokemon to explore the world and do all this stuff. You go around collecting, and as you can see, there's just a random Pokemon out in the world. And I mean, overall, it runs fairly decent, but no, it runs pretty bad. Now, I've had different people say different things. I've seen that on the internet. For me personally, the game runs a lot better when it is in docked mode versus in handheld mode. In handheld mode, it is riddled with frame rate drops, not consistent in the slightest. And even in this version on docked mode, it still isn't the best. You can probably see a little bit of frame skipping and frame slowdown and stuff, and it's just not really good. Pop-in is really apparent. If you guys look at the field, you can see, yep, pop-in right there. If you look at the field, you can see stuff start to pop in and stuff, which I get it. It's a Nintendo Switch. It's not the most powerful gaming console on the market. Nintendo has always kind of had weaker hardware in terms of their consoles, Well, not always, but in the last few years they have with the Wii. The Wii U was pretty up there. It was kind of even with the 360 and PS3, if not a little bit less strong. And then the Switch is just not very strong. So as you can see, going into the city, it really gets choppy and really gets rough. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, you know, it's a little rough. Now, this isn't even the worst part, because in this city, it actually is running fairly decent. So we're going to go ahead and fly over to a different city. So as you can see, you can fly wherever. You don't need a Pokemon to do that, unlike the past games. We're going to fly into this particular area. This is where the main academy is at, and kind of your first big town that you're introduced to. So we're going to go ahead and fly there, and we're going to see how it runs there. So you can actually see in this particular shot that I've got how crummy and pixelated the graphics are. Just look at the characters. Now these two people right here are your Pokemon Center, and basically where you can go and buy items and stuff like that. So I'm not expecting like a huge amount of detail, but even just look at the sidewalk behind and all the characters. I mean, you can barely make out that there's a character standing there by that other Pokemon. I guess that's like a fountain thing. I don't really know what that is exactly. So you can definitely see that it's a little rough around the edges. Sorry, he was getting into something he shouldn't be getting into, my dog. But I mean, it looks pretty rough. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look the best. Now, of course, graphics isn't everything in a game. Some of my favorite video games ever are games like on PS1, you know, Silent Hill, the original Spider-Man game that was on PlayStation 1, heck, even GTA, you know, San Andreas 3, Vice City, all those games. Even the original, you know, Pokemon games have always been kind of pixelated and not really like the most high quality demanding games ever. Now, of course, with this game, I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, the Red Dead Redemption 2 of Pokemon. You know, I didn't expect this to be the best looking game ever made. I expected it to at least run a little bit better than it is here, because I'll show off a little bit of Legends Arceus gameplay to kind of show, and I get it, they're two completely different games, and, you know, like Legends Arceus had its fair share of issues, but for the most part, it ran at a consistent frame rate. Oh, that's red candy. That's nice. It ran at a pretty consistent frame rate, and as you can see, going through the town, this particular busy town, it's kind of rough. So let me hop on the Pokemon here and kind of ride around and show. Yes, you pop in for characters and stuff. It's just really bad. You know, when you get into this main square area, it looks kind of barren, and then as you go over here, as you can see, someone just popped in right there, the person in the green shirt right next to me in her Bronzong. It gets kind of bad and stuff like that. Even after playing for a while, you know, if I were to run around this town, there's a huge frame skip right there. Even as I'm running around the town, it's just kind of, it's rough. It is really rough playing this with the frame rate and stuff like that. So if you do get the new ones, expect a lot of these issues. Nintendo might patch these and make it a much better performance type of game. But right now, in terms of it being like the way it is now with the frame rates and stuff like that, it's rough. Graphics are probably not going to get any better for the game, maybe slightly, but overall, I'm more or less hoping for a few bug patches or a few patches that help with bugs and that help with performance issues and stuff like that for sure. I mean, I don't mind the whole pop-in and everything, but I would at least want it to perform at a stable frame rate. Of course, if I'm doing a lot of stuff or maybe experiencing, doing a lot of stuff, I expect a little bit of dipping, but overall, it shouldn't be this bad. I mean, you can see right there, the shadow is glitching. There's a lot of issues with the game as of right now, which is sad to say. So if you can get past the technical issues of the game, it's honestly a really, really enjoyable and a step in the right direction, I think, for Pokemon games. So something Legends Arceus did, Sword and Shield did a little bit, but it was mostly a big feature in Legends Arceus, was the fact that you have all these Pokemon just standing around and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see that, because I know in the world of Pokemon, I always wanted to be able to explore without having to go to a particular spot to actually, experience this. So in terms of the UI, it has changed up a lot. Originally in Pokemon, you basically hit a button and it would take you to a menu. You can go to your bag, boxes, save options, stuff like that. In this game, you have your party to the left, and then you have the options to your right. Let me move myself for a second. So as you can see right here, we've got my whole team. This isn't my complete team. I'm only probably about 2 or 3 hours in. I have one challenge done of each of the kind of challenges that the game has. Stop that. You're making it shaky and making noise. So I only have about 3 challenges done out of how many there are. So this is my team right now. A fairly decent team, I would say. You know, I've tried, whenever new games come out, I try to always use the Pokemon that are new to that particular game. With like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it was a remake, so I couldn't really use new Pokemon. I was able to use a few and stuff like that, but overall nothing really new. But you go over here, you can check your summary. You know, so this is I can never say that name, Choir, I don't know. Anyway, so as you can see, there's 2 typings, a flying and a Terra type. Basically, it kind of introduces a sort of mega evolution in a way, where you can basically power up your Pokemon and they are more powerful and they look cool. They're all crystallized and stuff like that. I'm actually going to do this little raid right here. Yes, raids are in this game again. Raids were huge in Sword and Shield when you were exploring the world. Oh, wow, I sucked at that jump, didn't I? I'm going to try getting it over here. So the cool thing about riding this particular Pokemon is it doesn't take up a spot in your party, and you can ride it pretty much anywhere. It's kind of like similar to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or Sun and Moon, where you were able to basically explore the world without having to, you know, teach HMs to Pokemon and stuff like that. If you hit the minus button, you access your Pokédex, which honestly looks really cool. In this game, you're a student at this academy, so this makes sense for it to be kind of like a textbook in a way. If you hit Y, you've got access to your mapping, which looks like a lot, and it kind of is, but once you kind of mess around with it, you understand it a little bit more. There are 3 main, well, I guess 4. No, there's 3. There's 3 main challenges, as you can see. Right here, you've got Victory Road, which are your gym badges. I've completed 1 gym badge, but those you just kind of go around and so see like this person right here. So these are the ones that I've completed. So I've completed, this is a gym badge. This is a Open Titan, which is pretty cool. They're kind of like these overpowered Pokemon, kind of like the Gigantamax Pokemon that you would see in Sword and Shield. Or like the boss fights that were in Legends Arceus. And then you've got the evil team group they can go around and basically defeat, and they have kind of hideouts where you do challenges and stuff. Pretty cool stuff. So if you go around here, as you can see, you've got exclamation marks. So we got a grass gym badge, we've got a star badge, and then we've got the Titan badge, which are basically the big old Titans I mentioned. Another gym badge, and they give you the typing and stuff. And then if you look at these icons right here, these are actually raids that you can do, and they are a specific type. So I believe the one we are next to, I can't see because of my character model, but I believe it's a ghost type. So you can actually prepare for it. Now, if you look at it, this is, I cannot remember its name. It's a fire type lion Pokemon from, I want to say Sun and Moon. I can't remember exactly, but because it's a ghost typing, it doesn't matter what type it is. So even if it's a fire type, if you use like a dark type for it or a psychic type, you're going to be fine, which I think is actually kind of cool. And it also kind of helps you catch other Pokemon and stuff like that. If you look on the mini map in the corner, you can see other Pokemon that are available for me to capture. I got a Happiny, the new one, which is kind of like a Pikachu copy right there, Pawmau. That's the evolved form of it. It's an electric type. And yeah, there's just a lot to do in the game. So it's really cool, and it's really interesting to see. So we're going to go ahead and get into this raid real quick. So similarly with the other ones, you can invite your friends who have the game, and if you have the Nintendo membership, you can play with them and invite them, kind of like how on Pokemon Go, you can start a raid and invite your friends to come with friend codes and stuff like that and certain codes. Or if you want to, you can just do it alone and they'll give you some AI. As you can see, these are not real people because I don't have the Nintendo membership, so I can't play. I don't really have any friends on the Switch anyway. But this is the Terra crystallized form. It's essentially a different version of Mega Evolution or Dynamaxing in a way. I would say more Dynamaxing. Unfortunately, I didn't have any Pokemon that was good against Ghost type, so I just kind of threw in this bird. But you basically just keep attacking it. You've got a time limit at the top, and you basically just keep attacking it until it dies. And then if your Pokemon faints, you can then basically just come back. And you can also do call-outs if you want to. Pretty cool. You can cheer, and then you can actually terrestrialize. Is that how you say it? Terrestrialize your Pokemon yourself. But in this particular fight, in all of the raids, you have to wait 3 turns before you can do that. But when you're in a normal battle, you can do that at pretty much any time. So, I mean, like in sections like this, the game runs really fine. Obviously, because it's in a smaller area, it's not having to load a bunch of stuff. And most of the time when I'm doing battles, I don't see an issue in terms of performance and stuff. But me personally, I'm not going to catch this one just because I already have a fire type. But why would you do these? A, to catch them, and as well as to get all this loot. As you can see, all this loot. Very awesome. I do like the XP candies. They make it to where you don't have to grind if you catch a new low-level Pokemon, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. So, like, I do really, really enjoy the game. I'm not trying to say that this, you know, if you... I mean, obviously, if you don't like Pokemon, I don't think this is going to change your opinion on it, because this is probably the closest main series game that we've had in quite a while, probably since Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. At least, you know, in terms of a brand new game, this is the closest like main series title since Sword and Shield for the original game. Legends Arceus didn't have the gym badges. They had, you know, the challenges where you would catch Pokemon and basically level up via that way. This one, you have the gym challenges and you have all the other stuff and whatnot. And even though the game has a lot of issues, some people may hate the game for that, and they may disown this game and say, do not buy this game. Me personally, if you like Pokemon like myself, get the game. If you don't like Pokemon, you probably don't want to get the game. However, I don't think a game should be completely, I guess, not like just ignored in a way, just because of the fact that it, you know, isn't the best looking, doesn't run the best, you know. No, I don't think that like this is excusable by no means, and I definitely think Nintendo should do a lot more to fix it. Nintendo Game Freak, whoever, you know, is in charge of that stuff, they definitely should do more to fix it. But as an actual game, it's really good, and I really like it, and the story is really interesting so far. Like I said, I'm very early in on it, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and I like the game as a whole. Like I said, I mean, this isn't a video that kind of like dissuade people from buying it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. If you do, then buy it. But I just kind of wanted to talk about how there's a lot of performance issues with the game, because I've been seeing a few people talk about the game's performance stuff and just how it's not really good in terms of performance. And I figured that I'd go ahead and kind of throw what I thought about the game in, especially since I've been playing it. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a really interesting, I think, start to what could be a really awesome Pokemon game. Like I said, this is the second fully open world Pokemon game out there. The first one being Legends Arceus, which in my opinion does look better and performs way better than this. But I do like the general concept of this a lot better than Legends Arceus. I loved Legends Arceus, don't get me wrong, but I really missed having the gym badge challenge back, and I'm very happy that it made a return in this game. And I think that if they either if they do like a Switch Pro, or if they just kind of somehow are able to make the game run better, or look better and run better on future titles, that's awesome. So yeah, like I said, it's a lovable mess for me. Like I said, Pokemon's going to be one of those franchises I'm always going to love, no matter what. And I'm definitely going to play this game till the end and do all the challenges and side missions and stuff like that. But I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents in on what I thought about the game. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. I do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.